So without any further ado, I'd like to invite Sue Cook to make a short presentation about herself and her manifesto.
Thank you, Mark. I'd like to add some context to my manifesto, which hopefully you've all read. My platform for standing is the need for change. We hear that all the time. But more particularly, the need for change as it affects governance of CILIP. When I started out in the profession more years ago than I'm going to tell you, membership was a given. It was a comfortable arrangement between the fact we signed up automatically and accepted what we were told, and the income for the Library Association, as it was then, was a guaranteed one. It led to problems, as you can imagine. I personally became active when we were facing a situation pretty much the same as we've got now. Mrs. Thatcher, with the same sort of philosophy as her successor, was, to my mind, letting public services fall into major decline. And I actually wrote here to headquarters and asked why I wasn't seeing any response. And I'm sure that rings a bell with a lot of people who feel that way at the moment. And the answer I got at the time was that issues were being satisfactorily addressed in other fora. In other words, they were doing nothing. So, highly indignant, I resigned. Not satisfied with just letting my membership lapse, I resigned. And then I felt pretty silly a bit later when a colleague reminded me that Yorkshire people don't just sit back and do nothing. And he said to me, now it happened until you get off your backside and pitch in the earth. And he was right. I stood for my local committee and gradually became more and more active within the association. And throughout, I've had two guiding principles: improving the organisation for the membership and extolling the benefits of joining and the merits of the profession to anyone I could make stand still long enough. Most recently, as chair of the Branch and Group Forum and on the audit panel, I've been really pushing the need for assessing where we are in actuality, what challenges we face, and how we're going to implement sound business principles and practices and form strategic alliances which are actually going to help guarantee that CILIP has a sustainable future, and that is extremely important to me. I've given a lot of time to the organisation and I don't want to see it fold. Changes have started within the organisation, and I think that what Annie and her team need now is a very firm core group of people who support what they're doing and can offer informed guidance. And for that, I think we need trustees with the skills, experience and knowledge to help them deliver on their chosen agenda. I did cause mild consternation in audit panel one day when I said that very rightly CILIP is member driven and nothing should change that. But oh dear, did it need to be quite so member led. Because if you have total democracy or over-democratisation, it can lead to stagnation and a strangulation of new ideas and creativity. So, we need councillors and trustees who are prepared to be courageous as well as sympathetic to members' expressed views. Trustees who are prepared, after a long reflection, or not so long perhaps, to make hard decisions which might not always be popular and which they may have to justify. We need trustees who are prepared to be answerable, but trustees above all who put the needs of the organisation way beyond anything else. And that would be my aim.